just the last few days, monkeypox was declared a global health emergency. Black Mirror got their predictions right yet again because robot dogs have just been sent to war. Turns out Mathew Perry's death may not have been an accident after all. And I cannot believe I'm even saying this, but I am going to North Korea. Maybe. All of that and more, so let's get cracking. Oh, you f***ing fly, man! What the? Okay, the first story of the day is about Mathew Perry, because remember when he passed away and the police labeled it as an accident? Well, turns out it may not have been as accidental as they thought. That's because yesterday, 5 people were arrested and charged in connection with his death. And you know what's crazy? Those 5 people include his personal live-in assistant and 2 doctors. Prosecutors said that their investigation revealed a broad underground criminal network responsible for distributing large quantities of ketamine to Mr. Perry and others. They said that the group preyed on his addiction issues. Their communications were tracked, and in one text, one of the doctors wrote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay." And then in one instance, they reportedly charged him $2,000 for a vial that cost only $12. On another occasion, one of the doctors injected Perry with a large dose of ketamine and then watched him freeze up and his blood pressure spike significantly. In the 4 days leading up to his death, prosecutors alleged that his assistant, who had little to no experience in administering drugs, injected him with more than 20 shots of ketamine. 3 of those were on the day that he died. Investigators also said that multiple of the suspects in the case tried to cover up their actions after he died, with one texting another telling him to delete all of our messages, while one of the doctors was even caught falsifying medical records. Each of them are now facing a minimum of 10 years in prison. I mean, how wild is that? The very people whose job is specifically to help you. You literally pay them for that one exact purpose, and then they do the opposite. Absolutely insane. The whole situation is so sad that it's even turned out this way. But yeah, right, that's the news. Let's move on. Okay, guys, so this is some pretty big news. North Korea just announced that after about 5 years, they are opening their borders to foreign tourists in December. They said they've been waiting for over 5 years to make this announcement, and that they've been building what they called a socialist utopia in Samjiyon, which is apparently a city near the Chinese border. And what they described it as is a model of a highly civilized mountain city with new apartments, hotels, a ski resort, and commercial, cultural, and medical facilities. Sounds like... It sounds, I was going to say amazing, but then I thought, it feels like it's going to be like a fake, like a Truman Show kind of city. Now look, I get it. We haven't always spoken the most highly about North Korea. In fact, some would say we've spoken a lot of trash about them. Get it? Trash? Alex is probably giving you some trash, okay? But at the same time, we have played Kim Jong-un's propaganda song many times on this channel because, propaganda or not, it's kind of a banger. And I've always wanted to kind of see what North Korea is like, okay? Come on. So, drum roll please, Alex. With that being said, I am terrified to announce that I will be doing everything in my power to go to North Korea in December. And if I can't make it in December, I will go in early 2025, I guess, and just show you guys what the hell is North Korea like. So in celebration, Alex, hit that propaganda song. It is about to be the interview part 2 NEWSDADDY edition. Now, let's bring the excitement down a little bit, okay? Because I also recognize they'll probably not let me in as easy as the average person because I have this channel and TikTok. They'll probably think I'm about to do some hit piece on the country. But listen, Kim, okay, if you're watching this, imagine Kim watching this. Okay, but listen, right? Technically, I'm not a journalist. You don't have to worry. I'm just a content creator. I don't work for some American company. In fact, TikTok is a Chinese company. one of your friends. So, come on. So, I've put it out there on TikTok, and I've said that if I reach 1 million subs by the end of this year, I'll be going to North Korea, as long as they obviously let me. And if anyone is watching this and can help me get in and out, most importantly out, hit me up, because North Korea 2024/2025 NEWSDADDY edition is gonna happen. I know it is. Imagine that. All right, moving on. That fly is still wandering around. All right, so from one wild story to the next, authorities in New Zealand are scrambling right now after an anti-poverty charity unknowingly gave out sweets laced with meth to people in their food boxes. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing, but once you hear this next thing, all right, just listen. A common dose of meth is between 10 to 25 micrograms. In these sweets, each sweet, they said there was about 3 grams. So that is 300 doses of meth in one sweet. That is so worrying. This poor charity is just trying to do good and feed hungry people, but actually they're handing out meth and getting people cooked off their heads. Wild. What is... The charity said they received dozens of these bags of sweets by an anonymous donor, and then they took handfuls and put them in each person's food box. They believe hundreds of people have received these sweets after they started receiving calls from people saying that they tasted weird and made them feel funny. Even the charity staff accidentally tasted them after, a woman called in. She said, they had a really powerful tang, and they're like, let's see if it does or doesn't. What's going on here? And then they got cooked too. So far, at least 8 families have confirmed to have tasted the meth sweets, including 2 children who had to go to hospital and a senior citizen. So luckily, no deaths so far. Now here's the wild part, because police are trying to make people aware of the dangers of these sweets, but that might be a little bit tricky because each sweet has the street value of $1,000. So I don't know how many people are going to be returning these sweets. Get away, fly, man. So I'm sorry, fly is back, and I don't know if it's the same fly or a different fly, but it's so annoying. All right, I think that's about it. Yeah, onward, we march. But talking about marching, 2024 has got so crazy that children, kids, almost infants, are now protesting as well. You see, recently, not only did Turkey block access to Instagram, but they really did it when they blocked access to the extremely popular children's game, Roblox. And when they blocked access, these children were so infuriated that they took to the streets and they started protesting with signs and everything. I mean, is that not just the sign of the times, where little children understand the concept of protesting? Because I feel like there's been so many protests globally in the last 4 years, pretty much. So yeah, and they've even started a movement on social media, and it's kicked off under the hashtag Free Roblox. Roblox done nothing. Free 'em. You know what? Fine. We've all got our own battles to fight in 2024, so fair enough. You do what you need to do. Let's move on. This next one. Here we go again. So basically in the past few days, the WHO declared monkeypox a global health emergency. Season 2 has been trailered for a long time now. Oh, sorry, my bad. Drop the monkey. It's just called MPOX now. Now, this disease, which is highly contagious, has already killed about 450 people in an initial outbreak in the DRC, but is now also spread across parts of Central and East Africa. Reports say that scientists are becoming increasingly concerned about how fast this new variant is spreading, and also about its high fatality rate. Tedros, the chief of the WHO, said that the potential for the further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. Now, for all of the OGs, you'll remember that we had an outbreak in 2022 that spread to nearly 100 countries, including many in Asia and Europe. But the difference between that one and this one that we're currently seeing is, firstly, this outbreak hasn't spread nowhere near as far. But secondly, and this is not the best of news, this is a Clad 1 stream, and that one was a Clad 2. The difference, well, 1 is far more deadly than 2. Now, side note for everyone, I'm sure going to be in the comments, CLADE. I don't know if that's clade, whatever. I'm just saying clad, okay? Anyway, reports say that there was a change in the virus around September last year, and then these mutations led to a new variant called clade 1b. That has now spread rapidly and is being labeled by one scientist as the most dangerous yet. Now, although anyone can catch monkeypox, the outbreak in 2022 was largely concentrated among men who had, you know what, with other men. The current outbreak is also being driven by sexual contact, but is also being found in other instances too, like touching clothing, bedding, or towels used by the infected person, touching the MPOX skin blisters or scabs. I'm sure you're not gonna wow, that was horrible to read. Anyone that's infected that coughs or sneezes on you, or direct contact with body fluids such as
corn casserole.
And then the symptoms, if you caught it, are your fevers and chills, headaches, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, exhaustion, and then the most horrible one, the rashes. And then obviously death. Not ideal, and let's hope that they can get this under control, but if they don't, of course, I'll keep you updated. Either way, I guess. Let's move on. All right, next story. I guess we all knew this day was gonna come because Black Mirror has been so accurate with this kind of stuff before. But Ukraine has just deployed more than 30 robot dogs to the front lines. Now, luckily, they don't fire any ammunitions, but they are being used to penetrate buildings or Russian trenches. Their cameras can help to scout out the surroundings, detect traps or the movement of the Russian forces, and they can reach speeds of up to 15 kilometers per hour. So just look at this. Imagine you're at war and you see one of these things creepily sprinting towards you. That's scary. F you, fly. F you to And although they come at the pretty hefty price tag of between 4,000 and 8,000 euros, they're now taking on dangerous jobs that would usually risk the lives of 2 to 3 soldiers. So, I mean, the question is, on that front, that's amazing, they're saving lives, but on the other front, they're pretty terrifying. So, what is it? Amazing or terrifying? Let me know. All right, let's move on because this next story is a little bit of a vibe shift because the story behind this image that you're seeing now is genuinely tragic. Yesterday, this father was on his way to the local government's office in Gaza to register his newly born twins. After he got the birth certificates, he went back home only to find out that an Israeli airstrike had hit his home, not only killing his wife and his mother, but also his twins that were only 4 days old. This was the picture taken after he learnt of their faith, and he said, "I didn't even have time to celebrate them." And what's worse is that he's not alone. Gaza's health ministry said that 115 infants have been born and then killed during the war so far. That's a heavy one. All right, we are going to round this out with a bit of rapid fire news and then call it a day. Lemonade stands in 2024 are no longer just a little pocket change kind of side hustle. Now, thanks to new technology, they've got their QR codes for cashless, hassle-free payments. They got social media promotions also, which you can get to via QR code. They've got investors in their companies. They've got marketing, advertising, online orders, and even philanthropic efforts to promote their brands. That I always thought sort of the American lemonade stands were just a little like thing that you do on the holidays and raise like, you know, $100 over the weekend. But no. One mother said that her daughter, Kyrie, made a jaw-dropping $7,000 in lemonade sales in the last 2 years. And keep in mind, that's not like an all-day grind for a business. She's at school all day, so this is probably maybe just weekends or just holidays. $7,000. Wow. Next, we've got 2 dentists getting absolutely destroyed online after a video of them went viral showing them reading a cancer patient's private diary aloud and then giggling about her concerns about her treatment options. Their Snapchat text over the video said, "We found a patient's journal and now it's story time, LMFAO." I mean, how did they think that not only is this okay to do in the first place, but okay enough to post online? What were they thinking? The dentist had to release a big apology statement, but they didn't say that they would fire the 2 individuals in the video. Next, we've got an American ballerina who has just been sentenced to 12 years in prison for, and this is mind-blowing, allegedly donating $51.80 to Ukraine's military. Her sentence was for committing treason. The 33-year-old was born in Russia but moved to LA and married an American. But when she went back to Russia to visit her relatives, it's reported that enforcement officials checked her cell phone using the search word Ukraine and then allegedly found evidence of a bank transfer to a pro-Ukrainian foundation in America. She was later detained, charged with treason, and then in her trial, she pled guilty and now 12 years in prison. $51.80, allegedly. Wild if true. Okay, I think that's a wrap. I love you guys, and make sure you sub up, and we will be going to North Korea at the end of the year, hopefully. Woo! You